I have been driving trucks for over a decade. Long endless stretch of highways, far from the noise of the cities, deep in the woods, or across the desert plains. The kind of hours that blur the line between day and night, where sleep and relaxing are just distant concepts. It's a job that teaches you how to handle solitude, to push past discomfort, to ignore the weird things you sometimes see out the corner of your eye. But what happened to me last week? It's something that I will never forget, and I still don't know how to explain it. It was around 2:30 in the morning, a Thursday night to be exact. I was 2 hours from home, pushing hard to make it back after a long week of deliveries. It had been brutal, long shift, minimal breaks, and a constant sense of being on the edge. I was tired, mentally and physically. My body ached from sitting in the truck for days, my eyes heavy, and my mind starting to drift into a space between sleep and wakefulness where everything feels like a dream. The weather had been clear all week, but tonight it felt different, like the air itself was thick with tension, a quiet pressure hanging over everything. I was on a stretch of highway I knew very well, one of those back roads where you don't see other vehicles for miles, surrounded by dense trees on both sides. The kind of feel like they are closing in on you. I had driven it countless times before, but tonight it felt wrong. I haven't passed another car in nearly an hour. That wasn't unusual. This road wasn't the busiest, especially this late. But tonight, the silence seemed too complete, too unnatural. Not even the usual rustling of an animal in the trees, just an oppressive stillness. My headlight cut through the dark, illuminating the yellow strips of the road in front of me. I let my eyes wander to the rear view mirror, half expecting to see something in the distance. But the road behind me was empty too. And miles ahead, the trees started to grow thicker, casting long heavy shadows across the road. It was like driving through a tunnel of branches, a canopy above almost completely blocking out the stars. And then I saw him. At first, it was just a figure standing by the side of the road. He didn't stand out, just a shape against the dark woods. I have seen people hitchhiking out here before, though it was rare, but I got closer, something didn't feel right. The figure wasn't moving, just standing still, staring ahead with no apparent sign of distress or urgency. It was a man, at least from what I could tell, tall, maybe 6 feet or more, with a hunched posture. His clothes were torn and ragged, almost like they have been worn for years. The strange thing though was that he was standing completely still, his face hidden in the shadows. I couldn't see his expression, but I had this overwhelming sense that he wasn't a person who needed help. There was nothing human about the way he stood. I slowed down the truck even more as I neared him, glancing at the side mirror, thinking I might stop and offer help. But something made me hesitate. Maybe it was the way he didn't acknowledge the truck, or the way he just felt wrong. As I passed, I stole a quick glance out the side window. The figure's head snapped towards the truck, and for a moment I swore his eyes locked with mine. The feeling I got in that instant, it was something primal. It wasn't just the usual unease you feel when you pass someone alone in the dark. It was wrong. Nothing about it screamed danger, but I was already moving past him. So I kept driving. It wasn't like I could turn around at the point, and I tried to push the thoughts out of my head. I convinced myself it was just fatigue messing with my head, nothing more than that. But even I drove on, I couldn't shake that feeling that something was following me. The feeling of being watched. As the road wound through the woods, the air seemed to thicken. The temperature dropped sharply, and I had to roll the window up, even though it wasn't particularly cold. My breath fogged in front of me, the chill creeping into my bones. It wasn't just cold, though it felt like something was pressing on me from all sides, like the forest itself was closing in. Then came the smell. At first, it was faint, barely noticeable. A rag, musky scent, like wet dog mixed with something rotten. I rolled the window down a crack, trying to air it up, but the smell lingered, clinging to the cabin of the truck. It grew more stronger with each mile, thickening in the air, until I could barely breathe without gagging. It wasn't just the smell that made my skin crawl. It was the silence. Even though I was on a well-traveled road, there was no sound of wildlife, no wind rustling the trees, no movement of branches, nothing. Just a deep, unsettling silence. My fingers tightened on the steering wheel. My eyes darted around, half expecting someone to jump out of the trees. I glanced in the rearview mirror again, still nothing behind me. But I swear, I could felt it. Something was out there, watching, waiting for me. Few minutes later, I heard it, a scraping noise. At first, it was faint, barely audible over the hum of the engine. I thought maybe it was the truck itself, something loose in the cargo hold, a branch scraping against the side of the vehicle. But when I glanced in the rearview mirror, there was nothing there. The sound continued, but louder this time. A sharp scratching noise, like claws dragging against metal. My heart started to race. I pulled over to the side of the road, not knowing what the hell was going on, but I needed to check. I stepped out of the truck, my boots crunching on the gravel. I grabbed the flashlight from the passenger seat, expecting to find a branch caught on the side of the truck or an animal sniffing around. But there was nothing. I didn't find anything. I shined the flashlight down the length of the truck, checking every inch, but it was spotless. No branches, no scratches, nothing. The scraping sound had stopped. The air felt even heavier now, like I was suffocating. Then I felt a sudden urge to get back in the truck, but I couldn't shake that feeling that something was out there, just beyond the tree line. I stood there, scanning the woods, my flashlight flicking from the shadows to shadows. And then I saw it. A figure standing at the edge of the trees. Not the man I had passed earlier, but something else. It was much taller. The body was long, unnaturally so. Its posture was hunched, its arms too long, dragging just above the ground, and its head. It was too big, too wide for any human creature. And its eyes, God, those eyes were reflecting the light from my flashlight like black holes, blacker than any night. It didn't move, not at first. It just stood there, staring at me. And I swear, it smiled at me. Not in the way a person would smile, but something twisted. Something was wrong about it. Its mouth stretched wide, revealing teeth that looked too sharp, like they weren't meant for any human. I froze, my body refusing to obey, my heart pounding in my ears. And then it moved. It was fast. In the blink of an eye, it was no longer standing in the shadows. It was in front of me. Its face inches from mine, its breath hot, clenched against my skin. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. I just stood there, paralyzed with fear. The creature's eyes never left mine. I felt it. Its presence was overwhelming, suffocating. I didn't know what to do, but my instinct screamed at me to run. I don't remember getting back into the truck, but I must have. I slammed the door behind me and floored the gas pedal. I didn't look back. I can't. I was frozen with fear, not knowing what I was doing, not sure what I was doing at the time. I didn't stop until I hit the nearest town. The rest of the drive was a blur, my mind racing, my hands shaking. I kept checking the mirrors, expecting to see that thing following me still. But there was nothing, just an empty road as usual. And the trees, and the flickering of my headlight. When I finally pulled into the parking lot of a 24-hour gas station, I sat there for a long time, trying to calm my breath. That night, I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those black shiny eyes staring back at me from the darkness. Every sound I heard made my skin crawl, and the air still felt heavy, like something was lurking just beyond my reach. The rest of the week passed in a haze. I couldn't shake the feeling that something had followed me into my home, that it was out there waiting for me to slip up, to make a mistake. It's been over a week since that night, and I still haven't gone back on that road. Every time I think about it, I get chills. It's going to haunt me forever. Hello guys, if you like this kind of videos and want to hear more, consider subscribing to this channel, and also check out other videos on this channel too. Like them, share them. Now, back to the story. I have a haunting story to share that's bound to give you chills. This one comes from a small Navajo community in the New Mexico, where a series of disturbing events led to a chilling confrontation with the terrifying Skinwalker. If you are into dark folklore and supernatural tales, you will want to stick around for this one. The story takes place in a small village in northern New Mexico, surrounded by stunning yet rugged landscape of the high desert. It was a small community where everyone knew each other and respect the old traditions. However, tensions were high due to a land dispute between two families, which had been simmering for months. Things took a dark turn when a respected elder from one of the families was found dead under a mysterious circumstances. Although the official case of the death was deemed accidental, whispers of the dark magic and skinwalkers began to circulate. For those who are unfamiliar, a skinwalker is a type of witch from Navajo mythology, known for its ability to transform into animals and wield malevolent powers that are used to harm others. Tom, a local sheriff, started noticing strange occurrences around the village. Animals were acting strangely, and he couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching him wherever he went. One night, while heading home from a late night shift, he saw his neighbor Joe standing in his yard, staring blankly at the horizon. When Tom approached him, Joe was unresponsive and his eyes were glanced over. When he touched him, Joe collapsed, muttering about a skinwalker seeking revenge. Over the next few days, the village was plagued by eerie happenings. People reported seeing a shadowy figure lurking around their homes at night, hearing strange noises, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. It quickly became clear that the community was dealing with something supernatural, something beyond our understanding. With growing fear, the villagers turned to a local shaman, a respected figure known for his knowledge of the old ways and the legends. The shaman performed rituals and protective ceremonies to ward off the skinwalker, but the attacks only intensified after that. People began experiencing more frequent and terrifying encounters, including sightings of the shadowy figure and unsettling noise at night outside of their house. One particularly stormy evening, the skinwalker made his presence known in a dramatic way. Tom and several villagers witnessed the creature, a shape-shifting figure that blended human and animal traits. Its eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and it moved with an unnatural speed and agility. The attacks grew more violent, and the village was plagued into the fear and the chaos. Determined to confront the skinwalker, Tom and a group of brave villagers set out to find it. They followed the creature's track to an old abandoned house on the outskirts of the village. The house was a descriptive and filled with remains of dark rituals. Inside the old house, they discovered a hidden chamber adorned with symbols and artifacts related to dark magic. They spent some time in the dark old house. That's when they realized they was not alone in there. As the skinwalker emerged from the shadows, it was clear that this would be a formidable fight. The skinwalker's ability to shift forms made it difficult to predict its next move and defend against its attacks. The villagers, armed with protective charms and guided by the shaman, fought back with everything they had. The battle was intense and terrifying, with the Skinwalker using its shape-shifting ability to disorient and attack. However, the villagers' unity and determination proved to be their greatest strength. Through the sheer courage and the guidance of the shaman, they managed to drive off the Skinwalker away. The defeat of the Skinwalker brought a sense of relief to the village, but the damage had been done. The elder's death remained a painful reminder of the events, and the land dispute was finally resolved. But it left behind lingering mistrust and fear. The community had been through a harrowing ordeal, but they emerged stronger and more united. Tom's story serves a haunting reminder of the power of ancient legends and the dark forces that can emerge from unresolved conflicts. It underscores the importance of courage, unity, and respect for the supernatural elements woven into the fabric of our world. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please consider subscribing to this channel. Enable the bell icon so you don't miss new uploads. And also check out other videos in this channel too. Like them and share them. And if you have any suggestions or any improvements I need to make in this channel, please post them in the comment section. Till next time, this is Malayali Wendigo. Bye.